The last hibernation pod in Sector Alpha 7 hissed open with a mechanical sigh. Frost crystals crackled along the edge of the cylinder as Dr. Ilaraway stirred for the first time in 3,000 years. Her consciousness returned in fragments, a spark of awareness, the distant memory of Earth, and finally, with alarming clarity, the reason they had all gone to sleep. The beast. Ilara's eyes snapped open. The recovery chamber around her was dimly lit by emergency power, dust particles dancing in thin beams of light. Something was wrong. The hibernation protocol dictated simultaneous revival of all 23 scientific personnel. Yet she heard no other pods opening, no voices of her colleagues. "System status," she croaked, her voice hoarse from millennia of disuse. The neural interface in her temporal lobe sparked to life, connecting with what remained of the facility's AI. "Partial systems online," responded a fragmented voice. "Critical damage to sectors Beta through Epsilon. Power reserves at 17%. One life sign detected. Welcome back, Dr. Wei." Ilara stumbled from the pod, her muscles weak despite the preservation protocols. The cold floor beneath her bare feet sent shockwaves up her spine, helping to clear the fog from her mind. "The others?" she asked, already dreading the answer. All other hibernation units experienced catastrophic failure at varying intervals. Cause external impact event approximately 1,247 years ago. Ilara steadied herself against the wall. She was alone. The last human in this underground facility, perhaps the last human alive. And if the monitoring systems had awakened her automatically, it could only mean one thing. "Status of containment cell Omega," she demanded. A pause. "Containment breach detected. Primary, secondary, and tertiary safeguards compromised. The entity designated Kronos is no longer within facility boundaries." Fear coiled around Ilora's heart like a serpent. They had named it Kronos, after the Titan who devoured his children, a fitting name for something that consumed everything it touched. Not quite alive, not quite machine, the entity had been discovered in the ruins of an ancient alien outpost beneath the Mariana Trench. Humanity had been fascinated at first, then terrified as they realized what they'd found. A weapon designed to transform worlds. Ilara pushed herself toward the command center, each step becoming stronger as the revival drugs fully entered her system. The corridor walls bore deep gouges where something had torn through reinforced titanium like paper. The damage was old. Dust settled into the wounds of the facility. The command center's massive view screen flickered to life as she entered. Outside, cameras revealed a landscape utterly transformed from the one she remembered. The research facility had been built in the mountains of what was once called Norway. Now, twisted structures of impossible geometry rose from the earth like alien skyscrapers. The sky glowed an unnatural amber, and in the distance, something massive moved across the horizon, something that reminded Ilara of a mountain walking. "How long has Kronos been free?" she whispered. "Approximately 1,214 years, the AI replied. After containment breach, the entity entered a state of dormancy for 1,137 years. Increased activity detected beginning 77 years ago. Exponential growth pattern observed in the last decade." Ilara sank into the control chair. They had studied Kronos for years before the decision to enter hibernation. The entity had been damaged when discovered, seemingly inert. But their attempts to understand it had triggered a response, and they'd barely managed to contain it. Their best theories suggested it was a terraforming weapon, designed to reshape worlds according to parameters set by its long-dead creators. The hibernation plan had been desperate sleep for 1,000 years, while keeping Kronos contained, hoping it would return to dormancy, or that future generations would find a solution. Instead, it had escaped while they slept, and now the transformation of Earth was well underway. "Show me global status," Alara commanded. The screen changed to a planetary view. Alara gasped. The transformation had spread across nearly 30% of the planet's surface. Europe was entirely covered in the strange structures, Africa was half consumed, and tendrils of the change reached across Asia and into the Pacific. Any detected human survivors? She asked. Negative. Last confirmed human settlement, lost contact 43 years ago. Alara closed her eyes. She had awakened too late. Too late to warn anyone, too late to stop the spread. But perhaps not too late to understand. She opened a secure database containing all their research on Kronos. If she was the last human, she would be the last to understand what had happened to her world. Hours passed as Alara absorbed the information, cross-referencing it with the current state of the entity. A pattern emerged that their team had missed before, or perhaps the pattern only became clear now that Kronos was active on a planetary scale. It's not destroying, she muttered to herself. It's building. The AI processed her words. Clarify statement. Kronos isn't a weapon. At least not in the way we thought. It's preparing. These structures, they're not random. They're a network, a system for something larger. She pointed to the screen, to the massive form moving on the horizon. That's not Kronos. That's just a node, a worker. Kronos is the entire network now. It's building a receiver. Alara's mind raced with the implications. The alien artifacts they'd found with Kronos, the ones they couldn't decipher, suddenly made sense. They weren't warning messages as they'd assumed. They were instructions. It's calling something, she whispered. And after 3,000 years, it's almost finished preparing Earth to receive it. The facility trembled. On the screen, the horizon blazed with sudden light as one of the tallest structures activated, sending a beam of energy straight into the amber sky. Signal detected, the AI announced. Unknown transmission originating from transformed sectors. Destination, coordinates beyond solar system. Alara felt a strange calm settle over her. Whatever was coming, humanity had set it in motion long ago with their meddling. Perhaps this was always meant to happen, one civilization falling as another arrived. She stood and moved to the weapons locker, retrieving the experimental pulse rifle their security team had developed specifically to damage Kronos. It might not stop what was coming, but she wouldn't face the end of human history hiding in a hole. Prepare the remaining transport, she told the AI. I want to see what we've awakened. As Alara stepped from the facility into the transformed world, the amber sky split open like a wound, revealing something vast and dark pushing through from elsewhere. The beast humanity had awakened wasn't Kronos at all. Kronos was merely the herald, the preparer of ways. And now, after millennia of sleep, its masters had arrived to claim their newly transformed world.